guys, it's Demo Man here, and this is Star Citizen. Let's talk about it, Episode 2. I am here with my good buddy Gluestick. Say hello, Gluestick.
Hey,
Yeah. We don't have Die by Science with us today, because we fired Die by Science out of a torpedo tube. Let's do this. So, in Star Citizen with survival, pretty much everything can kill you, and how the permadeath system works, that's pretty scary. So what are your thoughts on this?
I really like it. In a lot of games, there's not enough of a penalty for dying.
Yeah.
It's like obviously you get your single player games, you just revert to the last save. Even other space games, i.e. Elite Dangerous, your only penalty is have you got the credits to cover your insurance cost of your ship. Whereas sort of the idea of permadeath here being a significant loss of assets, permanent loss of character, possibility of losing your ships if you've not got your insurances set up properly, and then having to start over again and trying to build up a portion of your reputation again.
Yeah.
It's going to add like a whole new swing to how games are played. You can't just go running into a room reckless. If there's like five guys in there or something, you got your pistol and you're just like running in because you've got a lot of stuff to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Unless exactly. But the thing is, this is why we have Arena Commander as well, which is good because I think it's a really good idea they have Arena Commander for this one very reason. It lets people let off steam and do the whole running in and shooting each other and blowing each other up without consequence. But in the main game, like you said, there are very real consequences. So if pirates take over a station or something, you're not just gonna pop out and go John Rambo or Die Hard because you got too much to lose. You'll abide by what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the possibility of the possibility of being able to have your ship stolen, you've got to play a lot more carefully with everything.
Oh yeah.
And even if it's just things like you don't die, you get significant damage to an arm or a leg, and they get replaced. That's then an extra thing you've got to think about because then that's lives off your character.
Yeah, exactly.
You've then got to think I might want to get a new ship or I might want to upgrade my ship, but I might want to spend the credits on getting some of those lives back, getting the arm and the leg back.
Yeah, exactly.
So it adds a new dynamic to the economy of the characters as well. You can't just think about purely advancement of your ship and your stuff.
Yeah. It's a new level of progression really because you sort of it adds more realism to it, and it also gives you something else to think about in the sense of like you said, we're saving up for a ship or something. Say if there's an organization, right? Now, there's a whole bunch of organizations out there right now that think, oh yeah, let's be mercenaries and stuff like that. But there's also other things they've got to take into account. So say if they got given a mission by some rich guy that was like, okay, we need you to take out this pirate base and you'll need to do some on foot stuff. There's a very real risk there to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? People might lose arms and legs. They might take serious damage. Hell, they might be killed outright. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It adds a new dynamic to the whole way the game is going to be played, from the small bits of running around a station to slightly bigger bits of perhaps first-person combat on a ship or in a station, to then ship combat.
Yeah.
It's going to make people think a lot more about what they do before they do it. They're not just going to go randomly around flying and shooting at things, because the consequence is a lot higher than possibly loss of money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in those big fleet battles that are gonna be coming in near the end of the game when they've finished the basic development cycle and they've got everything running the way they want to. No doubt there's gonna be at some point huge organizations going to war, big fleets. What I just can't get my head around is the fact that in those big capital ships and those medium-sized ships are players, right? And they're characters.
Yeah.
These ships will be going to war, and there'll be a huge battle, like you get in Eve, where there was something 100,000 ships destroyed or something. Now, it won't be that. Yeah, it won't be that high a number, but it'll be, say, 100 ships destroyed. Now, if you fill those ships with players and NPCs, how much would be lost?
I say, and when you think about it, how many crew does the Polaris hold?
It's 27, I think it is at the moment.
Yeah, so say you're fully manning a ship such as that, and that gets destroyed. That's possibly 27 people dead or extremely injured.
Yeah, exactly.
dependent on how much damage they take from where they are.
Yeah.
And then you perhaps times that by a couple, and then you add in your other ones, you sort of your gladiuses, your sabers, your mustangs, anything that could possibly be there. It's like, I think the way people play the game and the way people handle money is going to be treated a lot differently to a lot of other games. They're not just going to go around saving up for, or they will go around like saving up for one big thing, but it will have to take a lot more stuff into account and a lot more serious stuff as well.
Oh yeah, people aren't just going to be chucking credits willy-nilly because I think you'll start to see the people who will become the mega powers are the people who avoided the violence in the very early stage of the game, maybe the first even year of the game's full release, and then, just waiting for it all to blow over.
Yeah.
And then they'll be mega rich because they'll have all the credits to then spend on these military resources and getting these other organizations to fight for them. You know?
Yeah, it's just if you can keep hold of the money, because obviously, not if you do die and you've got to create a new character,
You'll lose some of it.
you lose. I imagine probably a significant portion of it. There's got to be
Oh yeah.
a heavy penalty on death,
Yeah.
and then obviously the fact that you lose your reputation, possibly lose ships, but that loss of money will set people back.
Yeah. That's something that's very true, and it means no one is safe in this game, and that's what I really like about it, because being an assassin is something you can do in the game, you know what I mean? You could be a spy, you could join an organization just to, learn about them, just so you can, when the time comes, sabotage him. Or if you're an assassin and say someone's making loads of money in this, like the stock exchange, right? They're not even leaving the planet, they're on the job well thing, trading resources via, buy and sell, buy and sell.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are really super rich and they're a mega power, right? So they've got their 890 jump and their jacuzzis and all that stuff. They're living the high life. An assassin from like a rival organization that he might be hurting inadvertently through his actions could send an assassin to take him out, and that would be like very serious business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it adds a whole new dynamic to the game. It brings it to life, I think. What do you think?
I think the way that the game is being made is trying to make it as much of a simulation as possible, less game, more simulation.
Yeah.
It's like if someone, as you say, is inadvertently causing someone else grief by just being successful, then obviously, yeah, they could send someone after them. But it's the whole thing of like what you're touching upon when you're saying that if you could send a spy into an organization, it's gonna make a big difference on things if they can sabotage a ship
Yeah.
right before a battle. That's gonna end a lot of players' lives. Because let's say you damage like a reactor and they've got no power whatsoever. It wouldn't take long for the enemy to then just destroy the ship completely, because they won't have any shields or anything, and they
Yeah.
can't evade.
Exactly. They could sabotage the escape pod system even, and then
Yeah.
that's it. The crew are literally screwed. But
Yeah, and I think the way they're going about the death system and the character system is a lot. The way it sounds is a lot more fleshed out.
yeah.
You get me? It's like they thought about it a lot more.
I really do respect that, though. I mean, because every action carries a heavy consequence. You won't have people just running off and, oh yeah, I'll just do this mission willy-nilly. You know what I mean? Maybe when you first start the game, because you won't have as much to lose. But I think when people really get the ball rolling, and they're looking for new people for their organizations, when people sign up to those orgs, especially the combat orgs, they need to really think. You know what I mean? Like, what am I risking here?
Mm.
Hell.
Because there could be a high chance of reward. You could get a lot of credits, and then you could get great weapons and great armor and stuff, and you could think you're doing really well, and then it only take a minute, and you could lose all that, like easily, and then that's however long you've spent playing, it's all the hard work gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not all of it gone because your second character will inherit some of it, but it'll be a lot of the work gone. Because they didn't want to have it so much like Dark Souls, everything goodbye, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wanted it to be more like that, but mixed with the more modern player-friendly environment. So yes, you can lose a lot, but your second character will inherit that stuff. But it's not the same, is it? Because you lose your primary character you spent time with,
Yeah.
That's you basically in the game. and you've died now. You know, that sucks. But yeah, I really do love the that dynamic to it. It also means other jobs in the game, like mining and stuff, are a lot more realistic because there is a lot to lose on the line there. Even an injury during these things, when you're really far out, could be really bad if you don't have medical equipment. You could bleed out.
Yeah, bleed out or just straight up die from an explosion.
Yeah.
Anything pirates. But the way they're going about it is that, as you say, we're talking about more the bigger things that could kill you, but there's also a lot of little things that could kill you.
Yeah.
Stuff just as simple as a mistake whilst flying or bad flying,
Yeah.
crashing into a station, catching a trigger or shooting in a no combat zone or near one. Even things like hunger.
Yeah.
That's going to have an effect. You're going to be very annoyed at yourself if you're flying around, you're on your last life, but you're doing fine. You're in no trouble for anyone, and then you end up starving to death because you've not thought about it and you've not got any food or any water or anything like that with you.
You skipped the last truck stop, you know. You just thought, oh, you know, I don't need that sandwich, you know. I'm on a diet. But yeah, well,
but it's like DayZ in that kind of aspect. People have got to think about more than just having the strongest weapon and ammo, because that'll get you part of the way, but there's also more stuff you need to be able to sustain that.
Strongest weapon could very well be the war of attrition. If you're fighting a bunch of people that are on a planet and you want to stop them from getting off of there, sure, it might take hours and hours and hours, and you'll have people playing around the clock to do it, but those people that are on the planet, if they don't, like, let's say if they're in like a bunker or something and you've got them suppressed and they can't get out there and they've run out of resources, they might just have to surrender.
Yeah.
Which is
there's even things like on when planets come out and when you're on space station, NPCs, pirates, the giant worm.
Oh yeah.
That stuff will have a big impact.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, who knows what other creatures is gonna be out there? I mean, if they can cook up a giant worm, who's not to say they're gonna have like some sort of spider race that like crawls onto your ship when you're sleeping. But yeah, I mean, and the Vandul are a very big threat. The alien menace, the ones that are trying to wipe us out. I mean, this is all very scary stuff. You know what I mean? The hunger is not going to be as extreme as in some games like Ark Survival Evolved, where it's like, oh, I can't do anything without eating. But you'll need to eat, like, say, probably once every few hours of gameplay. Like, say, if you've played for 7 hours a day and you're really into it, you're going to probably need to eat at least once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's cool. I do like that. It also gives a reason for all these little rooms on ships. Like, with the Polaris, you have the mess hall. There's a reason for that. You know what I mean? For everyone to like regroup around and sit down, you know, and chow down, and then go back to their stations, and then be capable of, you know, doing all the stuff they need to do.
But it's things like the way the death system works is that, like most games where you have a complex character creation thing, people will spend a lot of time making the perfect character that they like.
Oh yeah.
And it'll get to a point where maybe they died the first time, like, oh, god damn it, I've got to make that character again, or I want to make him look the same.
Yeah.
And if it's taken them a long time, they're not going to want to carry on doing that.
Yeah,
and they will start to they'll either start to take more care with the character because they don't want to go through the hassle of having to remake it, or they'll just like stop caring about it. And that's not what anyone wants, because no one wants to run around as a generic character that looks like 300 other people.
Yeah, exactly. That's not fun for anybody. I mean,
and the only way there'd be differences is perhaps with robot limbs or facial scarring or whatever.
Yeah, it's exactly it. Also, I can imagine something like this, you know, it'd be a pretty cool way to gauge what kind of, like, how risky someone you're hiring is. Because, you know, if you're in a bar and you're looking to meet an assassin or something, right, like a player, and he shows up, like, you know, with, like, mechanical arms and legs and a mechanical eye and burns all over himself, you're gonna say to yourself, you know, how accident prone is this guy?
Yeah.
Is he gonna get the job done? And yet, if he's really fresh and clean looking, you'll think to yourself, hey, this guy, you know what I mean? He hasn't been touched. I mean, either that or he's got a lot of credits, so he must be doing a good job.
Or either that or he's He's inherited some stuff and has only just got to this part of town.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I really love that. Like, I recently did a video. This will be out yesterday, but we're doing this today. But yeah, the video is about passenger transport and stuff, and how it's impossible to get a passenger transport license if you have any form of criminal record on your citizen record. So you can't get a job flying passengers around if you have any criminal history, right?
Hmm.
That's pretty intense. You know what I mean? Like, because right then and there, you're gonna have players that have been, going the right down the straight and narrow with that role, I can imagine, and doing everything right. But all it takes is a bunch of pirates to come out of nowhere and ambush that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the passengers, dude. Like, I mean, that would be nuts. I was watching a video. One of my favorite channels, The Games. He does talks like this, and he was talking about the god damn it, Starliner, Genesis Starliner, and how he wants to be a pirate and do like the old school train robberies on those things. You know, like when they would just basically board it when it's mid-flight and empty
Yep.
the wallets of everybody. Let's think about the risks of something like that, right? Well, let's think of the risks for the pirates when they board that ship. Like, there's a very real risk of everything going wrong, or even worse consequences than death. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about jail and things like that, which are very real possibilities. I haven't really covered that in any of my other videos, but yeah, being captured is a very real thing. There is a Drake ship, which is quite literally a police craft, and one of the what are they called? There's a fighter, but it's got prisoner transport pods. What's your opinion on bounty hunting then, Star Citizen?
Well, my only real interaction with any kind of bounty hunting in this kind of sense was with Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
In which you do something wrong, depending on what you did wrong, you got a certain amount of credits applied to your bounty.
Yeah.
People could then kill you and claim the bounty from that system, and likewise you could do that to other people.
Yeah.
If it's similar to that, it will work. If it's more complex than that, it'll work better.
Yeah.
Sort of like if you get specific missions about this person, or if perhaps there's a news system within the game, people become more infamous.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, but as you say, then that prevents them from going to specific places, prevents them from doing specific jobs. And bounty hunting could probably, for quite a lot of people, be a lucrative source of income.
But a very risky one. I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that person wouldn't have claimed a bounty or gathered a bounty that's worth taking if they were easy to kill.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, also the whole bringing them in dead or alive. You know what I mean? Imagine if it's 100,000 credits dead, 300,000 credits alive, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if he's not in space? What if he's in some bar on some planet, or he's on some planet that's got really bad crime, and he can call upon, say, some of his buddies to give him a hand? How would someone go about taking someone like that out? I mean, the risks are crazy.
I mean, then it comes down to almost role playing as such.
Yeah.
And that's a great aspect of a lot of games that I really enjoyed. That you can, someone who's getting a bounty hunting mission can then go to his friends maybe,
Yeah.
and then they can perhaps either starve him out, or they can risk the gunfight, or they can try and negotiate something.
Yeah.
And that does come down to more the role playing aspect. Does the person with the bounty really care about a little time in jail if it means they don't have to die?
Yeah, exactly.
Does the person doing the bounty hunting care about starving someone out if they could just run in and blow them all to hell and still get a reward for it?
Exactly that. And also, they could, because it won't show up on your head that you're a bounty hunter, because it's like real life. You could literally slip under the radar as, say, you're a pirate or something, and be like, hey, I heard about you from 7 systems away or something. I'm a big fan. And then get closer to him that way.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. I mean, it opens up so many possibilities. I really do think Star Citizen's gonna be the next big thing that everybody's playing when it's out.
I very much hope so. The way the game's advancing, the amount of stuff they're adding, and just the way the game looks is all incredible.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely remarkable. But
And once you've got like several hundred players within a part of space that you can all interact with, like more varied NPCs and the ability to just go onto a planet and explore, it's gonna change the game again.
yeah, it's basically the game is constantly evolving, right, as it is right now. But I mean, what's planned in the scope and what we have now, I mean, you can see the rough edges of what's planned, right, with what we have now, and with stuff that's coming with Star Marine and 3.0. That's the tip of the iceberg, and for most games, that's like end game goals. Like for most games, what the quality that will be is that's their AAA title released. With Star Citizen, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
That just
Well,
blows my mind.
you can see it from the website with the amount of ships that you can still buy,
Yeah.
and the fact that some of them are science vessels. So there's going to probably be a huge kind of tree that goes throughout all of that to explore and use. As
Yep.
you've already covered, mining
Yep.
and transport, bounty hunting, pirating. I mean, at the moment, there's selections of missions of turning arrays back on, and a couple more varied ones that provide a little bit of story where you can go somewhere to a different part of space, recover an artifact or save a transport or something. And that's just now. That's sort of their like, this is what it will look like.
Yeah.
And it's already very fun, and you can see where it's going to expand to, and that will probably expand to being able to go to a planet to do a mission, or fights on arrays, or just recovering stuff. Perhaps you've got to have there like be for perhaps a civilian passenger transport. There's people who need rescuing who are just on a ship,
Yeah.
and you've got a big enough ship that you can carry the crew.
Exactly that. Exactly that. I mean, the search and rescue role, I think, is going to be the backbone of Star Citizen, in my opinion, like when it comes to people that really help the game move forwards. If you're going to be like, it's the most, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the most, the role that contributes the most would be, I think, the search and rescue team role.
Yeah.
Because people are going to, imagine you're on your last life. Your ship's taken heavy damage, and the life support system's been damaged, and what you have in terms of oxygen's what you got left in, like, the ship. Like, let's say you're in a constellation, and you're drifting away, and then that Cutlass Red shows up with an ambulance team, like, the medical team on board, and they take you away, and they heal you up. You're gonna be grateful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just gonna turn your whole world around.
Because it could be a thing of like, you've got your insurance on your ship, you're not particularly worried about whether it gets destroyed or what, you can get it back.
Yeah.
But what you can't get back is your character, and as we've been talking about. So yeah, the possibility of being able to send out a distress signal or something, or send a message to someone being like, we're trapped here, we're stuck here, can you come and get us?
Yeah.
Because there's not very, unless you're right at a station, there's not really anywhere to go once you leave the ship. You're in space.
Yeah.
And it'd take you, I don't even want to think about how long it'd take you
You'd
to
be-
try and EVA your way back to a station.
Yeah, I think that'd be too far away, man.
Yeah, I think your oxygen might run out by then.
Yeah, and the suit's fuel as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you won't be able to slow down. You just pass it. That would suck. Oh man.
Discover a new way to attack ships. Just send the infantry out at full speed at the cockpit glass. Yeah, just hit the glass. It'll crack eventually,
Exactly.
and then they're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of like a new pirate role. Like you know how you have normal pirates, right? What about pirate ambulance crews who literally go around looking for people that are wounded and stuff? And then they go there to the people that are knocking on death's door, and they'll be like, "Well, we could bring you back, but how many credits you got in that account?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. You're gonna get so many people like that. Not not quite the villain. They're more like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to help you. I mean, I help people who help themselves. And currently, helping yourself is paying me.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
Exactly. I mean, I love that. That was something I talked about with a couple of friends ages ago. And this was to do with pirates and being on board a starfarer that is stranded in such a scenario, right? But we went into like a really realistic scenario and it got a bit ridiculous. And I'll lay it out for you. Right, so picture this. Starfarer is stranded. The jump drive is broken. And the reason I say this is because what happened was we were in Crusader. We jumped out and it jumped us out of the area, not where we were supposed to be. And then the jump drive just stopped working. And we couldn't move. We were just drifting. Now, we were talking, and we were like, what if this was really it? You know, like the game had come out, and we were stranded. And then my buddy Smiley said, well, what happens if the ship was overheating? And just imagine this. The pirate team comes along to salvage the ship or whatever, and there's the glass is steamed up, and there's 3 naked dudes fighting on the inside, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know what to expect. And then when they clear the steam, all they get is a pair of ass cheeks on the windshield. I think those pirates would have to say, I'm out. You know?
Yeah, you got to cut your losses at that point and wonder, is this the kind of life you want to live?
Exactly. It's like, man, I've made some really bad choices. You know what I mean?
But you probably will get a large group of people who make their living by scavenging.
Yeah.
Just waiting until someone's died or their spaceship's been destroyed, and then just going and seeing what they can get from it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly it. Like the whole salvage rule. Like you go up to Rex and you try and salvage good components and stuff like that. Thing is, right, in the whole maritime thing, especially in Star Citizen, I'm guessing it's going to work the same as real life. If a ship is stranded and there is no crew aboard, then it's open salvage, right?
Yeah.
But here's the moral question. What if there's one crew member still alive? And it's a ship that's worth a crap load in salvage, but you can't salvage it if there was one crew member still alive. What would you do?
Well, I'm just saying, if there's only one crew member alive, who's he gonna tell?
Yeah, exactly that.
Who's gonna tell anyone anything?
Yeah, but that's...
Yeah, I hope you. Yeah, just keep walking that way. Be like Lenny at the end of what's it? Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, people will get the reference.
People just get the reference. Oh, but yeah, that would be it though. I mean, there'll be lots of these little moral questions. Because what if he's like, man, you know, I'm on my last, like I'm really wounded. My body's on its last legs. You know, you gotta get me out of here. Like it'd be like, oh man, I could end this guy right now and get the salvage, or I could help him out, you know, and be the good, better person. But what are you gonna be when the time comes? I mean, nobody really.
So it also very much depends on how the bounty system works and how your effects work in the game.
Yeah.
If people have to be able to see it to report it, type thing, then they probably won't care about that one guy. But if it's the kind of thing where the second you just shoot someone who's innocent, it automatically clocks against you. There's going to be reasons to not do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's frowned upon to shoot escape pods and, you know what I mean? Basically shoot defenseless people when you're within, like, systems where there is a law presence. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Moby-Glass would immediately clock up, you know, like, that guy has been murdered, and then immediately send that information out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I think there very will be, in a warlike scenario, I think you're going to see organizations purposely targeting escape pods from enemy capital ships that are basically about to explode. Just send a message, you know what I mean? You're like, you know, we're not messing around. You know, this fight's not worth it. That's a very strong possibility for people to start shooting people's escape pods out the sky. Yeah, that would be pretty horrible, actually. But yeah, what are your thoughts on escape pods and that sort of stuff? Because Drake doesn't have any in their ships. There are no ejection seats and no escape pods. I mean, what's your thought on that?
I mean, it depends on how risky you want to be. It's sort of like if you're on a bigger ship, and you want to be able to get away, you're not going to be able to just eject out of it like you can with the smaller ships.
Yeah.
So having some kind of, but then it's like, where do you go afterwards? You're just in an escape pod.
Yeah.
your escape pod's not going to be able to jump you back through space. It will be like your last effort, last ditch attempt to just survive.
Yeah.
And it'll be like any other kind of escape pod in any kind of sci-fi or fiction ever, or lifeboats on a ship. It's sort of like you're still then relying on the help from other people.
Yeah, exactly. How long are you going to be out there for?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because I think Star Citizen will create real heroes in a sense. I mean, like, you might have everyone on board a big trade ship that's, been attacked by people and systems have been damaged, and the guy can jump the ship into a safer area where the people can definitely get rescued, but the bridge is so far away from the escape pods that if he jumps it, there's a very strong possibility that he won't be able to make it to an escape pod himself, but his crew, who are already in their pods, will have a chance of living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be cool. Like having that, like, I'm not gonna be able to make it, guys, or he launches the escape pods and then jumps the ship out of there so the pirates follow him and then proceed to blow up the ship and don't kill the escape pods.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty tragic. This has gone on for a while. We're on 31 minutes. I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up here. But yeah, this has been Glowstick, a good buddy of mine. Glowstick, how long have we known each other for now? Like, how long would you say?
8 years.
8 years.
Yep. 8
Yep.
or 9 years.
8
Probably close on 9.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you for joining us, citizens and viewers and listeners. It's been awesome. And we'll see you around the verse. So, Glowstick, you want to say anything before we disappear?
Bye.
All right, folks. I'll catch you later. As always, citizens, fly safe.